Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. We are going to be talking about, of course, the First Alert weather day that continues today for the bitterly cold air that remains in place, and of course, what you need to know in terms of travel and impacts for you out there right now, and what we're expecting in terms of when we will finally start to see conditions improve across North Georgia. So first, I want to start with this. If you were following with us last week and over the weekend, then you knew that we were looking at a prolonged period of very cold, freezing temperatures. So far, I looked this up this morning, we have been below freezing since Sunday at 9 p.m. Our temperature dropped to 30 degrees, and so we have had now officially 61 hours below freezing, and we are expecting temperatures to at least go above freezing slightly over the next couple of hours. This afternoon, we'll maybe have about 3 hours above freezing, so that will allow for some of that snow and ice to melt, and we'll also see a lot of sunshine today, so especially areas that are exposed to the sun and not in the shade, a lot of that will start to melt today, but that could turn into ice overnight again. In terms of driving conditions today, if you saw, the rule of thumb is, if you saw the snowfall yesterday, you shouldn't be driving on the roadways in your area. We have seen a lot of incidents across North Georgia throughout the morning this morning, particularly in areas along that I-85 corridor. Again, that was kind of our focus point yesterday as the snow showers came in. Now, we didn't have any freezing rain, which is when the precipitation falls and freezes on contact with the surface. We didn't see any of that yesterday. However, when people were driving, because a lot of this was happening during the commute, just the heat from the friction of the car tires was allowing things to melt and then refreeze, causing the ice and, of course, the snow itself kind of creates a slippery roadway. It doesn't have as much traction as a road when you have that light dusting of powder on the ground. So we were seeing a lot of issues with the roads yesterday, and that is still the case this morning. Temperatures have not gone above freezing. The sun has only been up for a little bit, so you just don't want to be driving on the roads, especially your back roads that haven't been treated. A lot of the major interstates look okay. There might be a few slick spots, especially on the couple of lanes that weren't treated, because they don't always treat all of the lanes on the interstates. We're encouraging you not to travel if you are traveling within the city of Atlanta, along I-85 through Gwinnett County, up into Jackson County, all through I-20, extending all the way into Morgan County and point south. If you are north of the city, Cobb County and beyond, you look fine. The roads look fine, and I can attest to that. I live in Cobb County, and the roads look great there. But if you have to travel into the city of Atlanta, you really need to use caution, and we're just trying to encourage you not to if you don't have to. Of course, big part of our story today, not that it is just a mess in terms of the roads from the snow that we got yesterday, but of course it's really cold, and we will have a breeze, so that's going to make it feel even colder. Our wind chill through the afternoon today will struggle to feel warmer than the low to mid 20s across most spots. Of course, if you do have any of that snow still on the ground, that is going to also prevent your temperatures from warming more than some others today, but just know it is going to be a very, very cold afternoon. Now, overnight tonight, temperatures are going to drop back into the teens to low 20s. This morning was our coldest morning. We had single-digit to teen overnight low temperatures. It was just bitterly cold. Tomorrow, we'll warm into the upper teens to low 20s. So still very cold, and most importantly, below freezing. So as I mentioned, that sun is going to start to melt some of the snow and ice on the roadways today. Any lingering moisture on the roads will refreeze overnight. So as you go back to work, some of the kids might go back to school tomorrow. Of course, we'll update you when we get those kinds of details. Just know that we might still have some tricky spots, especially on the back roads in your neighborhood. So if you live in a place that's kind of hilly, that's where we've been seeing a lot of problems, is at the bottom of hills. You just need to be really, really careful traveling out and about. High temperatures tomorrow, staying in the 30s. So we'll have a few extra hours above freezing tomorrow. We will see sunshine. So tomorrow we'll get even more melting, but it's still not going to melt everything, I don't think. And we'll still have to worry about that excess moisture going even into Friday morning. So I think Friday morning will be kind of that last morning where we'll worry about maybe some patchy ice on the roadways. But tomorrow even more so, because I think today with some of that melting occurring and then us freezing overnight, I think tomorrow morning will be the biggest concern, but still some patchy ice possible even Friday morning as well. Hours above freezing will gradually go up. So naturally, we have a little bit of a warming trend. We'll only have a couple of hours below or above freezing today, about 6 hours above freezing tomorrow. So that'll help kind of really melt everything up. And then Friday, I think we'll get pretty much all the melting that we need, and over the weekend everything will be gone in terms of the snow and ice, and we won't have to worry about that any longer. High temperatures over the next several days, again going into the upper 40s, which is going to feel great. We'll see sunshine in upper 40s on Saturday. After the last couple of days, that is going to feel really comfortable, and after the several hours above freezing both today, tomorrow, and Friday, all that combined, I think we will get rid of the snow and ice, and we'll really have to worry about patchy ice on the roads Friday morning, but then by Saturday morning we should be good to go in terms of the ice. Now, Monday is a first alert weather day for rain. Our temperatures will be on the more mild side compared to where they've been, but we'll watch for just rain, not thinking about any snow. I do want to put your attention quickly, though, before our first alert weather day to Friday, that 20% coverage of showers could actually be a few flurries. We're not expecting any of it to accumulate, but a few flurries could pass on by. We're going to have what we call a clipper system. It's a really quick passing system that'll be moving through parts of the Tennessee Valley, and that could bring a few flurries to us on Friday. Sunday night, we'll start to introduce that chance for rain ahead of the first alert weather day Monday for showers just in time for you to go back to work and school. So while the coverage actually went down overnight, we just wanted to give you that heads up that that's our next best chance for rain, and it's of course right when you're going back to work and school next week. Here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. Again, today the first alert weather day for the cold, and with temperatures barely going above freezing today, we'll have minimal melting today. I do think the sunshine will help at least a little bit, but because temperatures are staying so cold, I don't think that a lot of that snow and ice will melt that we had from the overnight hours. Then if anything does melt and stays on the roadways overnight, it will refreeze into tomorrow morning. So if you go back to work tomorrow, just keep in mind some patchy ice possible, especially on some of those back roads. We'll have extra hours of above freezing tomorrow. So I do think that we'll see more melting tomorrow, and by the weekend, everything will be gone. We won't have to worry about ice starting Saturday morning, and we'll just go into the weekend fine with highs in the upper 40s, and that first alert weather day Monday for rain, scattered showers, and then going into Tuesday, highs will go back into the 50s. So a gradual warming trend on the way, but I just can't reiterate enough. We've seen a lot of problems on the back roads today, especially throughout DeKalb County. Gwinnett County has had a handful of issues. We were talking to Troup County's emergency management director. He said that it's a mess out there. I-75 down in Monroe County, which is out of our viewing area, but very close to Barnesville, down in Lamar and Pike counties. So just if you don't have to get out on the roadways today, we're really encouraging you not to, especially if you saw snow yesterday. If you didn't see any snow yesterday, the roads are fine. But if you did, the roadways are a bit of a mess, and we've been seeing a lot of problems. So we're just urging you to stay home so that crews can go out and do their job and try and get it all cleaned up for you. All right, now we have to talk about a handful of stories, because naturally when we have weather events like we did yesterday, we get a lot of news out of it and a lot to catch you up on. So here to do that is Maria Moreau. I will send it over to her.
All right, thank you so much, Courtney Jacobazi. Again, we want to make sure that you are weather ready, especially as we go into today. It wasn't just a matter of being ready for yesterday. We want you to monitor the forecast real close, especially those first alert weather days when we do alert you of any changing patterns to our weather system. So coldest day in over a year today, and the main conversation that we are having is the roadways. And take a look at some of these pictures. I'm going to take that live bug down because this was earlier this morning. That snow still kind of sticking to the ground, but the major concern, as Courtney has been saying, is ice and the cold temperatures that are lingering around. Drivers, for example, in DeKalb County having issues since last night getting around ice on the roadways. Atlanta News First reporter Sarah Hammond is on Panola Road, where she has been watching cars driving into a pileup all morning long.
We've been here on Panola Road since about 5:30 this morning, and since then we've seen multiple cars still come down here into this pileup here at the intersection of Miller Grove Road. This is just off of Covington Highway. We've counted, now that the sun has come up, about roughly 20 cars involved in this pileup. But now part of the problem has become, if the cars aren't making it all the way down the hill, if they're able to stop a little bit in time, they're getting stuck on the road here and they're not able to get back up this hill. So that's become a big problem here. But again, we've seen multiple cars adding into this pileup since we got here about 5:30, and it's just growing. And we do know that DeKalb Fire and Rescue Services have been delayed because of the icy conditions on the road. So we don't know when this is going to be cleared, but we do see a police officer on the road here blocking the area of this pileup. Again, where the road is still open the other direction, kind of more towards we are, so cars are still trying to come this way and then realizing that they cannot stop in time and they're getting stuck and they're trying to pull themselves back up the hill. We see one car now sliding down the hill as we speak behind the camera. I don't know if we can see that, but people are having a really hard time over here on this road, so please stay away. I cannot overemphasize how slippery and icy and treacherous it is over here. But for now, live in DeKalb County, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First. Yeah.
And it's not just the roadways. We are also tracking the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. We checked moments ago, actually, and there are currently 341 canceled flights and 429 delays. A ground stop on inbound flights wasn't lifted until around 10 last night, but much of that impact is still carrying on into today, especially with airlines trying to sort out passenger travel with the weather that we're experiencing. We're going to continue to monitor the conditions at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and we will keep you updated if anything develops throughout the day. All right, let's talk about some of the other states that are dealing with this winter weather system. This is being called a once-in-a-generation storm, and it is sweeping across southeastern United States. Roughly 40 million people from Texas all the way to the Carolinas are under winter weather alerts. Now for us in Georgia, those expiring. It's bringing bone-chilling temperatures and potentially historic snowfall. Lee Winman reports.
Snow blanketing places from Lake Charles, Louisiana to Houston, Texas. For the first time ever, the National Weather Service issuing a blizzard warning along the Gulf Coast because of heavy snow and strong wind gusts.
For the last day or two, a lot of people have asked me, is this really happening? Louisiana, this is definitely happening.
Wind chills Tuesday morning dropped into the teens for much of the Gulf Coast with single-digit values in northern Texas. Officials warning people to heat their homes in safe ways.
Do not use your gas or electric stoves or ovens to heat your homes. A gas oven can lead to carbon monoxide poisoning. Electric ovens are not designed to heat your home.
The system is a generational winter storm event, the National Weather Service said Monday, and urged those along its path to take it seriously.
Most folks really should prepare to batten down the hatches for the next few days and to plan to stay put, stay off the road, stay put. You know, as the mayor said, this is one of those things that the weather experts are telling us is unprecedented for Houston.
More than 2,300 flights have been canceled into or out of the U.S. early Tuesday, most of those coming from Texas and Louisiana, according to flight tracking website FlightAware. Schools across the Deep South were closed or moved online Tuesday, from Texas to Florida. I'm Lee Waldman reporting.